So these are the types of things that make me really proud about my journey in sales, because not only am I training them how to learn better sales skills in the workplace or in the sales world, but I'm coaching them on how they can transfer certain sales techniques into their personal lives to help them in those moments when they're by themselves as well. Because we all have those moments where we question things. We think, fire up, should I do this? Should I do that? Is this good for me or isn't it? Can I do it? Why wouldn't I do it? Nah, I shouldn't do it. We all have those, those doubts in our minds that we listen to that, what's called the inner critic. The inner critic can be detrimental to our mental health, because it's the inner critic that is the reason why a lot of us who are going through certain things like anxiety and depression, the inner critic is that voice that tells us we're not good enough. And until we figure out that we are good enough, we're going to keep listening to the inner critic. The inner critic's going to tell you, no, don't go ahead with that business idea you just thought about.
Do you think that inner
it's a
critic?
bad idea.
Do you think that inner critic is like a seed that was planted from an outside person telling that to you in the past, and that sort of planted that inner critic seed inside you that sticks with you throughout your life, and that?
That's a good question, because, and what I think the inner critic is, it's kind of similar to your instincts when you're in moments and you think to yourself, should I listen to my gut instinct? Or shall I just go with what this textbook has just told me? Listening more to your gut instinct is basically the universe's way of saying, here's all these experiences that you've had in your life to this point. We're bringing all that data. We're bringing all that data to this moment. And we're telling you, by giving you that gut instinct, you need to go this way. Right? Because we've got the data to back it up. The universe is saying, your past to this point, all the ups, all the downs, all the highs, all the lows, they have contributed to this moment where your inner computer was saying to you, this is the way to go. Go that way. But you may be distracted, or you may be listening to other voices saying, nah, don't do it. Go this way. So the inner critic is that voice that's saying, go the other way. Don't listen to your gut instinct. I think the inner critic is seeds of doubt that we've had along the way. The inner critic is internal messaging that we've had from upbringing. So internal messaging could be, we're finally remembering all those telling offs that we had growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees. Just using money as an example. The love of money, is the root of all evil. Or, you get people saying, money's the root of all evil, but the love of money is the root of all evil. Which one's the correct one? So in your mind, you're like, I've always been told money's the root of all evil. It's actually the love of money that is the root of all evil. So, and you get people who say money can't make you happy, and yet others who got money, they say, yeah, it can't make you happy, but it gives you choices. And it leads to happiness. So the instinctive part, I think, is your internal computer telling you, we're doing all the work for you so you don't have to think in this moment. In this moment, we're just giving you a little nudge to say, we've done all the thinking for you, go this way. That's what I think the internal, the instinct is, that gut instinct. So
that gut instinct, if I can relate it back to sports, is there.
Yeah.
When Stephen Crowden kicked that goal to win the game, that was the instinct right there.
And I think that the other gut instinct in that moment was Chanel Harris-Tavita. He could have passed it to Milford, faked him, and went 20 meters the other way.
Yeah.
Right? Because Crichton, in interviews after, has said, he told the boys, I'm ready, I'm here. If you need me, I'll be over here. Because he could see that MILF was being rushed. Because they knew he was the guy that was going to take the droppy.
Yeah.
So I was so glad when I saw Chanel pass it to Stephen, because Stephen was right in line, right? It was a 40-meter kick, but he was right in line.
Yeah.
And obviously he's done it before, so in practice.
You know how you're saying, like, that thing when you think to yourself, go the other direction. Don't listen to the inner critic. You know that term, that's what you describe, how to defeat that inner critic is what people, that's the background to what people say, back yourself. Hey, because when you're right, when you've done all the training, when you've done all the studying, when you've done everything in the background to lead you up to this moment, and then you decide I can't do it, hey,
Yeah.
what do you mean can't do it? You just did all the work.
So
Back yourself.
that's another thing. The inner critic and the seeds of doubt that we've picked up along the way is what leads to fear in the moment, the anxiety. Whereas the confidence that comes from practice, consistent practice and creating habits and making it second nature, when that moment comes, if that side is stronger, where you've done all the practice and it's become second nature because you've done it many times before, versus the inner critic trying to pull you down and say, no, pass it. Pass the ball. Don't drop it. Don't drop kick it. The inner critic has to be weaker than the practice that you put in. Otherwise, you will listen to the inner critic because you haven't done enough practice to give you enough confidence in the moment to go, no, I've got this. I've done this before. I know it works because I've done it before. So I've got that knowledge knowing it's fine. Say, for instance, you are a lion tamer. You've tamed many lions and you've lived with lions and you work with them every day. And you've got someone who is having their first experience with those lions. They come in with fear. Whereas you've spent that time with the lions, right? You've got the knowledge, knowing I know exactly how to deal with the lions. This person who's seen lions for the first time and has come into that area where the lions are, they're shitting their pants because they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the experience or the confidence to say, I've got enough skill and knowledge to know how to deal with the lions. Same thing.